So good afternoon, Shivangi, and welcome to our interview series, where we attempt to uncover what makes someone a leader, regardless of title. Uh, Before we begin, I would like to give our audience a brief introduction about who we are, what we are trying to achieve through these interviews, and of course, introducing you, our speaker for today. Well, Metamorphosis is a vertical of Samak Soul Waters, focusing on leadership development solutions for organizations, individuals, and teams. As coaches, we bring a holistic lens to leadership and a common belief that a leader's individual journey toward wholeness is critical to addressing today's rapidly changing and complex challenges. Who is a Leader is an interview series where we endeavor to understand what defines a leader and how aligned are leaders to their core traits. We seek to clarify how leaders help people move forward and what is redefining leadership today. Our third interview features Shivangi Nadkarni, a successful business leader who comes with 2 decades of experience in the domains of information risk and data privacy, e-commerce, and networks. She has handled multiple roles over the years at Sify and Wipro before she co-founded Arrka 8 years ago. She's the co-founder and CEO of Arrka. Arrka works in the highly specialized domain of data privacy. Arrka has built India's first privacy management platform that empowers organizations to implement and manage their privacy programs. Thank you, Shivangi, for giving us your precious time for this interview. I would now like to begin with this interview, with your permission, of course. But before we begin, is there anything you would you wish to say or you would want to address the audience?
Thank you, Akshay. This is such a pleasure and a privilege being here. Thank you for inviting me. No, I just would love to chat up with you on this topic. I don't know if I should, call myself a leader in quotes, but I'd love to share whatever insights I have gained over the last couple of decades of working.
Well, of course, let's hear it from you then. I would, of course, still like to call you a business leader.
Thank you.
And you've been a business leader for more than 2 decades. So, what, according to you, are some non-negotiable traits that every leader should possess?
I would say, first of all, grit and persistence and just the ability to stay the course no matter what happens, stay focused and just go on. Now, another thing is attention to detail. I can't emphasize enough. As they say, the devil lies in the detail, and so does the angel. So you cannot afford to take your eyes off that. Not hesitate to say, I don't know, and ask for help when needed, because obviously none of us know, the amount we don't know is so huge that it's important that we acknowledge that, right? Continuously learn. You have to guard against this sense of I know everything, I have arrived kind of feeling. The ability to think at a 30,000 feet level as well as at the ground level simultaneously, and be able to swing between the two, very, very easily. Very critical. Relentlessly keep connecting the dots, because we take in so much of information all the time, and we sort of keep collecting these dots. It's important to keep connecting them all the time to move ahead. When you're looking at solving a problem, solve it not just for that particular instance, but solve it for the long term, in the sense, how do you make sure it doesn't happen again?
Right.
To systematically solve a problem, not just reactionary kind of thing. And another thing is, know how to delegate and when to delegate, because ultimately you're working through a team. So
Right.
how do you stay out of people's way and let them do their job is also very critical.
So it's safe to say that staying grounded is key to balancing life and leadership, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. You said it.
Yeah. Right. So talking of balancing life and leadership, do tell us what drives you to work every day, or what motivates you to get up every day.
Well, many things. Um, I think from a work perspective, just the fact that what I do is making a difference to the world around me. I think we work in a domain that is so new. People are trying to find answers along the way. As somebody put it across to me a couple of weeks ago, is like, you're building the airplane on the runway as it's taking off. Okay, so it's very uh, just the fact that what you're doing is impactful is hugely motivating. And then the exhilaration of creating and building something from scratch, which comes as an entrepreneur. And I think just the fact that in my domain you keep learning all the time, so it's a continuous learning process. No 2 days are similar, and I think that's what gets me out of bed and going every single morning.
So it's so being learning intensive and making a difference in the world around you is what motivates you. That's
Yes.
excellent,
Yeah.
right? And these two traits too add up as non-negotiable traits every leader must possess. Uh, Now, would you want to talk about one myth of leadership that you want to bust?
uh, Well, it's people have this feeling, I feel, around me is there's a what I would like to call maybe something that has built up over time, but this perception that that a leader needs to have a certain kind of persona, right?
Right,
There's this myth about a leader being somebody who is loud and aggressive, pushy, extrovertish, a dominant kind of person,
right,
which I think is a myth, right? Each of
right.
us is our own person. We have our own personalities. We evolve and change over time.
Correct. Right,
And it's important that we don't assume a different persona or think that if I have to be a leader, I need to assume that persona and therefore just back off from it, right? So I think
right,
that is one thing. You just need to be your own person, build on your strengths, work on addressing your weak points, and just focus on what needs to be done.
right,
I think
right.
an other myth about leadership is that you're at the forefront of an army of people, right?
Mm,
You can be a leader without necessarily having a team, right? It's
right,
not about just leading a team, right?
right, right.
It's very important that you don't confuse being a leader with being a manager.
Yeah,
When you're managing a team, you're being a manager. It doesn't necessarily mean you're being a leader, and it's very
right,
important to
right.
differentiate between the two,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So leadership is
Right,
about achieving something, making an impact on the world around you. You can be a single person who is doing this. You don't necessarily have to lead an organization. You don't necessarily have to do it in the context of a workplace. You can be a leader in your community, in the world around you,
right,
right?
right,
So I
right,
think
right.
that's important to know,
Yeah.
to acknowledge.
Let's leave the personas, for the custom experience guys to create client personas. And I couldn't agree more with you on this. That leadership is about achieving something. It's about
Yeah,
making an impact on the world around you.
yeah.
Let us now slightly digress and focus on you for a moment.
Okay.
So if not an entrepreneur, then what would you be doing and why?
Oh wow. Uh, I think I would be an academic and a researcher if I were not leading a team, especially because the domain I work in is, as I mentioned, it's evolving. There's so much happening. I'd love to pick one or two areas and just do a deep dive into it and focus on building stuff which is more research oriented for the long term, and all of that. So who knows, I may probably do it after a few years as well. So yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Taking this slightly forward, what is one leadership lesson you're still learning?
I think I'm learning all the time, stumbling and sort of, course correcting and figuring my way out. And I think it's the truth with everything. But I think if I sort of think about it, one, I think just achieving that fine balance between micromanaging and letting go, right?
Right, right,
I I don't. I think I have a long way to go over there, trying to balance that too, and it's very important for me as a person to evolve to be able to do that, right?
right, right,
Um, the other thing I think I'm still learning is just managing perceptions and communications with stakeholders
right,
around me,
right,
right?
right.
That it needs to be done in a more structured way, and the more one sort of connects with more people, it's very important to manage things, and I think I have a long way to go over there.
Your clarity in thinking, Shivangi, just amazes me. Uh,
Thank you.
now, I would like to hear your thoughts on likability and leadership. So, what is the one thing that you hate about your role? And also mention two things you love about your role as a leader.
It is a strong word. What do I
Yes.
dislike is
Yeah.
maybe more correct.
Right.
I I dislike having to chase and follow up people. You know, in my
Right.
world, if I had an ideal sort of brush to paint with, I would love it if I could, you know, once one has decided something, we agree with another person that
Mm.
this is what we are going to do, and this is the timeline, and this is the expected quality, and it will turn up in that quality
Right.
within that time frame.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, the reality is that you have to keep following up, keep chasing,
Correct. Correct. Correct.
and it's a pain. I wish I
Yeah,
could do
yeah,
that.
I could, and I think this is where probably we connect to your act of balancing between micromanaging and letting go of
Yeah.
things. I believe.
But yeah, I learn lots of things that I do love about what I do. One, I think, is the sheer freedom to create and innovate and build something that makes an impact. Just love doing that. And I think it also comes with a lot of responsibility, which somebody pointed out to me once. And I think, yeah, that's something which is very, very, I would say, exhilarating to do. The other thing I just love about what I do is the opportunity to just meet and interact with such a wide variety of people, and and in the process you get so many different perspectives, so many what I call aha moments, lots of learning, because everybody has so much of value to add to oneself. So I
Right.
think those are moments I really enjoy, and of course, with the current COVID situation, it's put a dampener in the work, but one still endeavors to do that, and yeah, I mean, I love that about what I do.
We all love to find the aha moments in our life,
Yeah,
right? Right.
yeah.
So your, in fact, your interview indeed has been, kind of a aha moment for me, and
Oh,
I'm sure all aspiring leaders would find something insightful.
thank you.
So what message would you want to give to all those who wish to ignite the leadership spark in them?
First, find your own thing. Okay, there is so much going on in the world, there is so much that one can do to step out and make an impact, no matter how much you think you don't have the power in you, no matter how much you think of yourself as being, probably, I mean, I've met so many people who think, oh, I'm just an insignificant nobody. It's not true. I mean, in your environment, in your circle, whether you're working, whether you're not working, in the personal sphere, in the professional sphere, I think each of us has it in us to make an impact, right? And so just find your thing, build your vision, and work towards that vision. Nothing comes overnight. There is nothing called a free lunch. You have to work hard and persevere to achieve where you're going, right? If it's of
Right, right,
anything that is of significance.
right,
And
right,
like I would say, I would maybe quote Satya Nadella because I think he says it very well before,
Mm.
sort of, he says longevity in this business is about being able to reinvent yourself or invent the future, right?
Right,
So
right,
these are some things. But I would say the other thing I would definitely advise people is just cut out the noise around you and stay focused. There is,
right,
otherwise it's very
right.
easy to just get
Correct.
led by whatever is going on. You're all the time sort of looking over your shoulder and worrying
Mm.
about what somebody will think and somebody will say, and so much of our individual energies just get scattered in just
Correct.
worrying about what the world thinks, right?
Right, right,
just,
right,
just ignore that noise, stay
right,
focused on what you're doing,
right.
focus on your inner self,
Mm.
and go forth and conquer. I mean, there's just so much to do for each of us.
Excellent. Yeah. And I think this statement, which is go forth and conquer, that's definitely that stayed with me. And what a lovely way to end this insightful conversation. Shivangi, once again, thank you for your pearls of wisdom. I'm sure people will benefit from your advice and tips. And I wish you and your organization all the very best. Uh,
So much.
and yeah, thanks, thanks. And before obviously we end the video, of course, I would want to tell you and also our people who would be watching this video is that we'll be releasing this video online on our social media platforms so that it reaches millions of aspiring leaders. So stay happy and stay blessed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.